Today, I'm not gonna waste your time with a long intro, so here's 10 tips, tricks, and hacks in DaVinci Resolve 18 or 18.5 that you should know. Here we go. Oh man, I struggled with this problem for so long and it was so frustrating. Now, what was the problem? Well, I use a lot of effects and animated titles and plugins in my videos. My favorite ones are from Motion VFX, by the way, the link is in the description. But whenever I was using one of the heavier titles or effects, my render would always crash, especially when editing in 4K, but also 1080, so it was really annoying. But the fix was actually super simple. There's two things you should do if you have the same problem. First of all, in the playback menu here, you can set the timeline resolution to half or quarter. And that's totally fine because it will make editing on a slower, less powerful computer smoother. But you have to make sure to set it back to full resolution before you start rendering. I know, it's weird, right? But it really works. So yeah. And then the second thing you should do, go to Preferences, then Users here, and then this one. Stop renders when frame or clip cannot be processed. Make sure it's unchecked. Now, you're probably thinking, doesn't that give weird results? Unprocessed frames and clips? But no, I haven't noticed anything weird. The only difference now is that my renders don't crash anymore. And I also don't want to throw my Mac Studio out the window anymore. And I also apologize to my Mac Studio because it wasn't his fault. Her fault. Whatever. So maybe you don't like shorts and reels and all that stuff, just skip to the next tip then. But if you do like making shorts and reels, this is a tip for you. Because maybe like me, you're also making long videos and you want to turn parts of those long horizontal videos into vertical videos. And if the subject isn't moving, that's no problem. But if the subject is moving, it is a problem, right? But not anymore, because you can use Smart Reframe. So this is a horizontal video, but I'm moving from left to right in the frame. And so if I turn this into a vertical video, I'm moving in and out of the frame also. And of course you could manually keyframe this, but you can also use Smart Reframe here in the inspector. With your clip selected and set to auto here, just hit Reframe and done. And now Resolve will automatically keep the subject, which is my face, in the center of the frame. Everyone has their favorite shortcuts, right? And which ones they are depends on your editing style, what kind of videos you make. But there are a few shortcuts that everyone should use, no matter who you are. If you're not using these shortcuts, then you can't be my friend, okay? And bad things will happen to you. So you can customize your shortcuts here in the keyboard, customization, and the first shortcut, or actually it's two, here in trim and then ripple. The ripple trim end to playhead and start to playhead. And what is a ripple trim? Well, end to playhead, for example, just set your playhead somewhere on the clip, and then when you hit ripple trim, end to playhead, it will trim the clip to the playhead and at the same time move everything behind it also to the left. And start to playhead, of course, does the same, but from the start of the clip. I use these two shortcuts every day, hundreds of times. And then there's also ripple delete, which is pretty much the same thing, but with a delete. So if you use it to delete a clip, everything on the right will move to the left and close the gap. So learn these shortcuts, use these shortcuts, and master these shortcuts. Why are you not using adjustment clips? Why? Adjustment clips are amazing. I love adjustment clips. You can find them here in Effects and then Adjustment Clip. Just drop it onto the timeline and now you can use it for example, color grades. Select the adjustment clip, go to the color page, and then do your color grade or whatever. And then you can go back to the edit page and move the adjustment clip around. Make it longer, shorter, so that you apply it to multiple clips, for example. But you can also use them for effects, to zoom a clip, pretty much everything. And the big advantage is that all the footage underneath stays untouched. Have you ever felt like a cut in one of your videos is a bit rough? It feels a bit off, but you don't know what it is? Well, a lot of times there's an easy solution, an easy fix. Just use an L cut or a J cut. For example, a J cut is when the audio track from the second clip overlaps the first clip's video. So you hear the audio of the second clip before the video cuts in. And a J cut is, well, the same, but the other way around. It's a super simple trick to make your cuts 10 times smoother. Now, how long the overlap should be? It depends. Sometimes it's a few seconds, but sometimes just a few frames is enough already. Does your media pool sometimes looks like this? and then you're looking for a clip or an image, audio, whatever. This one, for example, wouldn't it be great that if you click on something on the timeline, it would also highlight it in the media pool? Well, it does. You just have to enable it. Go to DaVinci Resolve Preferences, User, then Editing here, and this one, Enable Always Highlight Current Clip in Media Pool. And now, whenever you select something on the timeline, you'll see it right away highlighted in the media pool. It's these simple tricks that make editing a lot more enjoyable. Let's talk about tracking now. For example, if you want to track an object to stick text to it, like my finger here. But of course, it doesn't have to be your finger. You can do it with pretty much any object. Now, usually you do that in the Fusion page and then add a tracking node. And this right here is the tracker box. You have to put this box over the object you want to track. So in this case, my finger. But this is where a lot of beginners make a mistake. Because, I want to stick the text to the tip of my finger. So you might think, box over the tip of my finger and then track. But this won't work very well, especially when my finger is moving too fast for the tracker. So first of all, make the inner box bigger. So instead of just the tip of my finger, my entire finger. But also the outer box is super important. This is where Resolve will start looking when it loses the object, when it's going too fast. So also make that box bigger so that Resolve knows it can go look there when it loses the object. And it takes some practice to know how big you should make those boxes, so practice. And what you can also do, if you're noticing that it's difficult for Resolve to track an object, increase the contrast of that object. You can use these tools here in the tracker settings. So you can use all of these to increase the contrast of the scene. For example, use only the red channel. See how it increases the contrast here? And it's okay to exaggerate the contrast because it's just for the tracking, you won't see it in your video. Have you ever accidentally deleted the audio of one of your clips? Well, it's super easy to get it back. Just put the playhead over the clip, hit F, and then here, this icon, just drag it back onto the timeline. And that's it, your audio is back. And then finally, there's dynamic switching. So sometimes when I'm editing a video, it happens that I use a lot of stuff from an older project, an older video. But of course, I don't want to keep opening and closing that older project all the time. And so I use dynamic switching. Just go to the project library, right-click, and then turn on dynamic switching. And now, whenever you open multiple projects, you can just switch between them up here in this drop-down menu. Just keep in mind that the more project you've opened, the more your computer will struggle if it's a slower, less powerful one. Okay, and that's it. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next one.